this is where they need to go and plead their side. A lot of the ironclad agreements aren't necessarily ironclad. If you have a judge that is realistic and looks at both sides of the story and recognizes inadequacies. Hi, and welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. We have an entertaining show for you today. But before we get there, our hearts go out to every single person that lost a family member, a loved one, a friend on this very monumental day 24 years ago. Our hearts go out to everybody, and we will always reflect back onto that day
of 9/11.
Never forget. We also ask that you share an episode that might be relevant in your life with a friend and hit subscribe. We are trying to grow our numbers, and we are so thankful to all of you because we're at 50,000 downloads, which is an amazing accomplishment to date. And we're going to tackle prenups today, our top 3, and we also have a song of the week. And we would like to talk about an iconic establishment that the 3 of us frequented this week.
My favorite bar in the entire world in Seagirt, New Jersey, the Parker House. The Parker House is a bar that you have to hit at least once a summer. I was lucky enough to blow myself up 2 Sundays in a row. And in the basement, they call it God's basement. The girls were going Richter, dancing as hard as you can to favorite band, Pat Roddy. It's a great way to your summer or put it on the list if you're 21. We definitely showed those youngsters how it's done. I'm just telling you, we showed them how it's done.
Well, what I loved about it was I didn't realize that your mother-in-law and your mom had
the
something
interior
to do
decorator.
with the design of this landmark. And for those of you that haven't been at the Parker House, it really does embody yesteryear with an updated feel. It feels warm, comfortable, and cozy, yet very modern. And it's a place that gets line around the corner. So if you're thinking about going, figure out a friend to get you a VIP
card, and it's a very sought after one. And you also better have a fistful of cash because it's cash only. And we have thought about how many laundry bags of cash come out of that joint every night.
Cash is king.
Those are my favorite summer memories. They have a back bar where they serve little mini burgers called Luke Burgers because he was on the grill, and you can get lobsters and clams, and then it turns into this crazy nightclub, which I love. So the people that don't really want to get involved with fist pumping with all the youngsters in the dark basement, they can stay upstairs and have burgers and have a nice cocktail.
It's also a restaurant. You can go there for dinner.
The food's great.
The food is delicious, but really it's a memory making spot. A lot of people have met their significant others there, had their first kiss. A lot of us have created memories that we're thankful social media didn't capture.
Well, the best video that I posted on my story, I was walking by and there's these 2 guys. They were full clown show. Guy had pearls and he was such a poser. And I look over and he's holding his sneaker. Shoot the boot. Shoot the boot.
Oh yeah.
So when
it happened to be a golden goose.
It was a golden goose.
Yes.
So what he's doing is he's pouring a beer in his dirty sneaker and then chugging it with his selfie camera going, look at me, look at me. Well, his dumbass,
this for you guys.
Yes. But his dumbass friend had his flip flop and it went all over him. And he goes, dude, we're filming. Figure it out. Get out of my way. It's awesome. You could do anything there. You can go any age. Yeah.
It's a fun
pretty funny.
Check every box. All your needs are met. Young, old.
And if you're 50 and over, you have to go at least one time a season or you're just aging out.
Never age out. No, my mom was 87, was dancing in the basement with a ring around her.
I mean, we had a posse of 50 large and strong. We had a blast, and thank you, P House, for still giving back.
Thank you, P House. Love you guys so much. And ladies, I'm going to bring you a little top 3 today.
Sounds good.
In the house. All right, coming in at number 3. What did you guys think of your English teacher and your gym teacher? Are they getting married?
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, they finally did it. And everybody is abuzz about how they did it and when they did it and why they did it and the ring. It's a big deal when 2 icons with significant money have wedding in their plans.
Everything she touches turns to gold. She made it a brandable moment. She branded it after her 2024 album. She unveiled the next album on his podcast. We can't get away from them. It was disturbing when we saw her at every Kansas City game, but we're talking about it. And the way that she introduced her engagement is iconic. And I think the prenup is going to be iconic too. So
Oh, yeah, it is.
Stick around for that part of our talk today.
Coming in at number 2, the world's happiest country credits empathy.
Denmark. They know what they're doing, and they teach empathy classes. It's a mandatory part of their curriculum from 6th until 16 years old. They put them in situations where they have to learn how to be kind and have empathy. And their bullying statistic is like 0.2%. It's something nominal.
Yeah, they are the happiest country in the world year after year. And there's a reason. They are founded in community, and everybody has a place and an opportunity to contribute. And they've simplified it. The human connection is the most important thing. And if you can teach somebody how to be kind, then the world is a better place. Because with this disconnect that we have with social media and technology, they're bucking that trend and demonstrating that all it takes is you to lend a hand and be kind to somebody else, and the world is a better place.
To promote good behavior, neuroscientific research has shown that practicing empathy strengthens the medial prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for emotional regulation and perspective taking. So if you start doing it at a young enough age, it becomes second nature. And that's what they've been doing since 6 years old. That's why they are happy.
Coming in at number 1, gel nail polish linked to reproductive cancer, banned in Europe, but legal in the US. Nail biters should think twice.
Well, I have to say, I've done gel nail polish and never liked it, because as soon as you put your fingers underneath the lights, it hurts your nail beds. It's hurt my nail beds. This is not right. There's something wrong. And it's a chemical that's in the gel nail polish that's used across the board. And the cancer links are real. And this is being pulled off the shelves in Europe. Here.
Effective immediately.
Immediately.
But yet we're still going and getting our gel done every other day.
The nail associations in this country are very powerful and strong, and they don't want to hurt business owners. And if you are just learning as a nail salon in the United States that there's this problem, get ahead of it. For anyone listening that owns or goes, ask your salon
for
what
the
they're doing.
chemical-free version of the
There's
gel.
ways around it. So be smart people, be educated, and ask.
That's all Didi wants, or gel nails. I said, no, sorry.
Well, for everybody, we'll include the story on our social media. Read it so that you know exactly what the chemical is that is in the polish that is not only cancer causing, but can lead to infertility.
We can't read it. We're not even sure how to pronounce it. And there's red flag number 1. When you have something that you cannot even pronounce, there's probably something there.
Yep. Problem.
All right. Well,
one of the problems I haven't had is having to sign a prenup. I think that might be a scary situation to have to think about potentially getting a divorce before you've even walked down the aisle. I understand that there are people that are loaded with assets and all kinds of different things that they want to protect, but what a crappy thing to have to think about before you take your vows.
I think it's a challenging thing to think about before you take the vows. And as we mentioned, Taylor Swift, whose evaluation is about $1.6 billion, and Travis Kelce's is only $700 million. So that's a huge disparity well, compared to $1 billion, it is only. Yes. But when you have that disparity, when you come into being married, I do think it's a stressor, but I do think it's a leveling of the playing field and being educated. If you just understand where you stand before you get there. And listen, if this is an issue before you even get married, I'd rather have it be an issue before I get married than we get married and I have no rights.
Sometimes you don't even know it's going to be an issue until your significant other says, hey, and P.S., I'd like for you to sign a prenup.
Well, prenup agreements are an admission right up front that things aren't going to work out. So why get married? I have so many friends right now that are getting divorced and dealing with prenups, and it's a nightmare.
Well,
these douchey dudes that go, oh, here, sign away. Look, you're protecting your fortunes. You're protecting family trust. You're protecting your life.
You're protecting.
Just don't get married.
I saw a lot of prenups where it's like the only prenup was if he cheats on me, I get $1 million, or $500,000 was Jessica Biel's to Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. But those are superstars. Think about the average person. Yes. My friend is an average person who's literally fighting. She signed a prenup because she was in love. And it turns out when you really looked at the fine print, because you didn't really look at the fine print when you sign it, She's
I'd be
getting
looking at the fine.
she's getting so fleeced right now.
Well, she can go back to an attorney and she can fight it because I've got
They're
a million stories here.
ironclad right now. She's having the hardest time. He's saying, no, I'm going to give you $10 per kid for food a day.
A judge won't allow that.
His kids are just hers.
These are personal experiences,
Correct.
not like the super high up people that are loaded and billionaires, blah, blah, blah. These are my friends that have gotten crushed. Even signing it, all of a sudden there's all these loopholes and it's not fun.
This is where they need to go and plead their side.
They're pleading.
A lot of the ironclad agreements aren't necessarily ironclad. If you have a judge that is realistic and looks at both sides of the story and recognizes inadequacies.
Nope. I've been going through it for a year with her.
Well,
and
part of the
it's
problem
a nightmare
too, is that this is a legal binding agreement.
Yeah.
And therefore you can't just fight it on your own. Most of the time you need to secure legal counsel, which requires money. And if it's a issue of the money, now you're taking loans to pay people, hoping that you're going to get a judgment in your favor, and it gets complicated. So to your point, if you are being asked to have a prenup, you do need to make sure you have both sides represented.
Well, for example, Steven Spielberg made his up on a scrap piece of paper. That might have been sweet at the time, but it didn't hold up in the court of law. And Amy Irving, his first wife, got $100 million post-divorce. I was pleasantly surprised. Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan, their prenup was to have a date 1 day a week. They had to go on a date 1 day a week with a minimum of 100 minutes of alone time that took place outside of their residence and outside of their office. So here's people that have gazillions and trillions, and her only stipulation was, I need quality time. You can be creative.
That was her only stipulation?
Well, that's the only thing that was written. There was zero money talk, and they didn't even qualify it as a prenup, because if they went to a judge and said, hey, I didn't get my date, it wouldn't legally uphold in the court of law.
So it's not really a prenup.
But it's considered their prenup. There's a lot of examples of different types of prenups, and it's kind of fascinating.
People that I know too have used prenups, and I don't think it's fair when you come into a situation where the family has had family money for a really long time, and there may be a trust that hasn't come to fruition or things of that nature, where you don't want that to be a component of getting married. I think two people should come in as equals, and the two that get married should understand what I did in my past. If I decide, if I have a business, if I have a family trust, if I have something that I have created that is my baby before I get married, and I say, I want to marry you, I'm into this relationship 100%, but what has preceded this relationship does not belong to you.
So why get married if you can't have that trust? Because you're already locking into something.
I don't think it has anything to do with trust. Trust in a relationship is about us.
I'm just speaking both sides. You know,
I agree with you. I understand I understand what you're saying. I don't think it's a trust thing. I think it's a leveling of the playing field. It's saying, listen, I've got zero, and my family is worth 100 million. Now, I'm going to get that 100 million if the marriage goes south or the relationship goes south.
Diggers out there.
For
Our Klingons, stage,
totally
5 clingers. But there are real people that fall in love. And yeah, the last thing that you want to contemplate is what you're going to get at the end of the day when you walk away.
So a friend of mine had an older man come and had the deal that they're making. For them to get married, he's older, he's jacked. You sign this prenup and this contract, and we'll be married for a certain amount of time. And at the end, we're going to go along our ways, because he wanted arm candy. And she was asking my friend, should I do it? Should I not? She's like, go for it. Definitely sign it. Hopefully you're getting a lot of money. And she's going to sign it. And prenup, about 5 years, we're done, and you're going to get millions of dollars. But it's going to be arm candy for 5 years. I mean, that's the business deal, because prenups I sound like business deals. You're protecting your assets, your family fortunes, family businesses, the family trust.
Lifestyle prenup. You could be used to something, and all of a sudden you're getting a divorce, and now you can't live the life that you have been leading for X amount of years, and you can't show your children the same life they've been living. There's so many. In fact, I'll just give you a couple names. Traditional property and debt prenup, asset protection prenup, spousal support, alimony prenup, estate planning prenup, business protection prenup, lifestyle prenup, sunset clause prenup, And let's not forget the postnuptial agreement. All of a sudden, things have changed while you're together, and now you're maybe asked to sign a postnuptial agreement. There's a lot. The infidelity clause was what I saw in the celeb crew the most, when you really started looking in depth at a lot of these famous prenups. It was an infidelity clause. The best one was Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. She had a $40 million clause for cheating in her prenup. And that was the most important one.
Yeah. And they should, because half of their marriages are for the camera and they're not going to last long. They don't do it for love. It's usually for money and fame.
So, Michael Douglas,
yeah,
Michael
but
Douglas
some of them,
and Catherine Zeta-Jones have been together a really
right.
long
But then
time.
the others stay together. You're psyched.
How
Then
about Trump and Ivana? She challenged the legality of it, and she walked away with more. So she got $20 million in cash. She got $14 million. That was the family home, and $350,000 in alimony.
so good.
So you can challenge the system. I don't know if that it just works out with celebrities. I think it would work out in real life too, if you were getting raped over the coals and put up a good case for yourself.
Yeah,
they can be challenged in court. Let's be honest. It's an agreement that you're signing prenuptial, right? So it's a prenup, obviously, before marriage. And if after you get married, things change, you can always fight it in court.
But whatever's written, it's written. And it's really hard to break a lot of those. Just speaking from personal experiences through my friends. Well, but make sure you go through it. Who's owning the house if we get divorced? How long do kids get to stay in the house? Who pays for college? Yep. So it sounds fine and dandy when you're like, yay, we're getting married. But you have to really go and dig in and dot every I if you're going down that road.
Right. Well, as somebody who never had to sign a prenup and who got married to somebody who came in with zero, so there was nothing to fight or be worried about. That's easy. You start at zero, you build a life, you build it together, whatever you have. If God forbid things go awry, you split it in most places 50-50. And there's a kid consideration. I think that the reality of marriage anymore is that it is a contractual agreement. And there are more implications to getting married from a tax basis, from a financial basis, from an expense basis, even if you have zero, that need to be identified. Getting married, let's be honest, we all get married in hopes of love, but marriage is not easy. And knowing what you are signing up for ahead of time, I actually got no problem with. If you want me to sign something and that sounds egregious and terrible, and I've got no interest in doing it, perfect. It was another opportunity for us to have a conversation about something that was going to come up anyway in my marriage.
Two very close friends of mine had to sign them. And even as happy as they were leading up to that point, when they had to really go through it, it becomes real. All of a sudden, you're thinking about the worst case scenario, which is a really hard thing to do. And I understand if you have a lot to protect, that you might be forced to sign a prenup. And in both of their cases, they signed it. And if I was them, I would have signed it as well. Yep. But there's so many different reasons for signing. I thought this was fascinating. Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. Philip had to drop his Greek and Danish royal titles and his German roots and become a naturalized British subject and take his grandparents' English surname, Mountbatten. And that was a prenup about monarchy. So it bends like a river. Whatever is important at that moment in your life, if it's a company that's a family-owned business and the family's looking at it like, hey, this person's coming on board and this is the way it's going to be, you don't have a lot of wiggle room. It just depends on what is truly important. The infidelity clause I saw repeated over and over again, even to the point where if this person is doing something scandalous, I get full custody of the kids.
A dog to begin with is the question. Is that why they put it in?
Well, I
celebrity.
So
I'm sure it's a celebrity thing.
How about Jessica?
I think it's more across the board than you think.
I think
the infidelity clause is
a big one.
Is a big one because let's be honest,
the biggest percentages and reasons that people divorce.
If you got married not for money, you got married for love. The infidelity is the biggest issue. You didn't care about the money, right? But if all of a sudden I have an infidelity clause in my prenup and I married you, didn't care about the money, but you cheated on me, I don't want to be with you anymore. That would be my out.
I think one of the reasons that Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson didn't work out is because there was speculation and rumor that he would be paid $500,000 for every pound over 135 pounds that she put on.
My husband wanted to put that in our prenup. I'm just kidding.
I might be in jail. I was so insulted.
I'd be like, okay, well, for every hair you lose.
Right?
Oh, it's
Oh my
so
God.
good.
Totally.
Well, they say divorce is expensive because it's worth it.
Oh my God.
You can always make more money. Going guns a-blazing, swinging. I don't know.
And the other part is that be careful what state you get married in, because
50-50 in Jersey.
Sometimes you get married in a state, you go on these destination weddings, and all bets are off because it's where you get married.
And you might not even be really married, as we're like finding out now. You can go get married in another country, but if you didn't do it back in your town,
Right?
Yeah.
in your borough.
So pick and choose if you're out there looking to get married, but kind of get married, kind of not. Think of the place that it doesn't really count.
So
Do it under the full moon in Anguilla on a boat in the middle of the continental divide. Who knows?
Going back to what led us to this subject, what do we think the chances of the Kelsey Swift lasting more than
shocked that
5
he's
hours?
worth $700 million.
Yeah, well, he's got a big brand.
He's got a brand.
Have you
big.
noticed he's on cereal boxes? He's got
yeah.
like crazy.
If you make it to a
endorsements.
cereal box, you're making the money.
Yeah. I mean, it's not very good cereal, no offense.
Well, listen,
It's
now
crap.
they're joining forces. So they're going to become an empire. That was brilliant marketing that he had her come on the podcast. And both he and his brother were saying, hey, she's a super stud athlete because she's putting on show after show when she's on tour and she's exerting so much energy. They gave her the props of being an athlete. And then she got to unveil her album.
Yeah.
They're already figuring out exactly how to make this romance.
It's all about
It's a
all
collab.
about a collaboration.
A
I don't know.
collaboration.
How many years do you give it?
I don't know.
I think they're happy.
I think
kinda
they're
like it.
adorable.
I like.
But will
I-
they be
I'm-
tainted by the societal pressure is really going to be the biggest issue. I think it's like very difficult today for them to maintain celebrity. The celebrity lifespan is so much shorter than the regular everyday. I can't even imagine what it would be like every time you walk out your door, every time you do anything, anytime I mutter a word, anytime I went to the grocery store, somebody would be there looking to see what I
She's
look
gone
like.
through
what
a
I'm
lot
not.
to get here. Look at her music. It's a trail of her life. And she's had her heart broken and she's dated assholes. And I feel like this might be the first time that she got engaged. I don't remember her getting engaged before. So I
Yeah, I
think
don't
you have
think
to
so.
kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince. And I think she really found her prince. And I feel like it's believable. It's not, you see it and they like each other. And
Yeah.
you hope for her benefit that it works out because she did go through a lot and she shared all of her journeys with her fan base. Right.
Well,
And
if they
she
do-
is 35 years old. She's an older person, not old, but older person getting married, but a young person in Hollywood years. I would
that has
say.
access to anybody and everybody.
Correct.
So,
well, if they get divorced, we'll have a couple more albums coming out of it. So it's all right.
That's true. You can have a lot of content. Maybe happy Taylor Swift is not a creative Taylor Swift. We shall see.
Yeah,
That's
that's ladies. It's so much fun talking about prenups. And
now we
Big
got to
enough.
go to our Got Grit Award recipient of the week. And who might that be?
Well, our Got Grit Award winner this week is somebody we had to commemorate on 9/11 because he was known as victim 0001. Father Mychal Judge, he was a chaplain to the New York City Fire Department. He rushed to Mayor Giuliani hearing of the 9/11 attacks. He was known for ministering to the homeless, to the sick, to the hungry, to the injured. There are movements now to have him canonized for everything he did pre 9/11, but even just his dedication and his devotion on 9/11 to be there for everybody who needed him. And the fact that he was victim number one is just so poignant into his life because his legacy lives on. And he has an amazing prayer that he's known for. Lord, take me where you want to go. Let me meet who you want me to meet. Tell me what you want me to say. Keep me out of your way. So God bless everyone who on 9/11 lost their lives. And God bless Father Mychal Judge, our Got Grit winner of this week.
I mean, Mychal Judge was performing what he does the best when he lost his life. He was giving of himself when he lost his life. Father Mychal was also a recovering alcoholic, and he led countless people to find sobriety, which is amazing in itself. That was just one little part of his journey.
Yeah. He was really powerful on the streets of New York. He would come up to people and he was famous for giving his coat, literally his winter coat, off his back to people that were homeless. And he's truly an inspirational human being. And there are not enough words for people like him in the world. Somebody who was so impactful on this fateful day.
Yep. Well, ladies, are we going to close it out with a beautiful song?
Beautiful song.
What do we have?
It's funny that you guys are calling it a beautiful song, but I'm not going to give you any other hints. I think back in our earlier lives, we had music that was important to us for certain moments of our lives. I had a soundtrack with boyfriends or my girlfriends. We had this, the soundtrack of summer, something like that. My husband has not said this to me in a very long time, but the other day we were driving and he said, "This is my song to you." And when he said that, I got the butterflies in my stomach and I thought, my God, it's been so long since he's said something like that, which was romantic. So I'm going to read the lyric. Beautiful, crazy. She can't help but amaze me. The way she dances, ain't afraid to take chances, and wears her heart on her sleeve. Yeah, she's crazy, but her crazy's beautiful to me. Do you guys know this song?
Girl.
Beautiful, Crazy, sung by Luke Combs.
Yes.
Oh, it's
And
so
the whole song, as I was listening to it, I thought we need to bring this back again and have a song for your best friend. Have a song that makes you think about your significant other. He brought me back to a place and it made me feel really happy. So that's my song of the week.
I love it. Oh, how many songs you have these great memories. Mychal, I was sitting there as I broke up with this dude. Cry me a river came on. She's looking at me. She's like, cry me a river heart. No, I love it.
Well, it's why it brings you back to moments. And it's why music
Yes.
is such an important part of our show and why we bring this segment to you each week. Music is so empowering and we all love music so much because it can transport you back in time and you feel the way you felt when you
hear those lyrics.
And now I'm going to think of him forever every time I hear it.
And now I'll think of you when I hear it. Pat, if you're listening, you have such a soft spot in your heart.
And he even shared it with my kids and said, "This is my song to mom."
See, I love it, P.
Very cute.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Girls Gone Gritty. I always love being with you, ladies. And if you get a chance, go to any of our social media platforms. Give us some thumbs up. We love it. Share it with your friends. And be sure to tune in next week. We're looking forward to it. And once again, our hearts and souls go out to all these September 11 people who lost loved ones and ones who survived and are dealing with the pain of losing people. Embrace that day. Give everyone a hug. And I had a few friends that had children born on September 11th. So make it a special day. Peace out.
never forget.
Ever.